Hello everyone. Group 2 hereby present to you an analysis of the financial statements of ITC Limited. ITC Limited is India's foremost private sector companies and a diversified conglomerate with business spanning from fast-moving consumer goods, agribusiness, software hotels, paperboards and packaging and information technology. The company's product portfolio includes cigarettes and leaf tobacco, foods, personal care, stationery goods, specialty papers and agricultural commodities. ITC's wholly owned information technology subsidiary, ITC Infotech India Limited, provides IT solutions to leading global customers. It has carved out a niche for itself by addressing customers' challenges through innovative IT solutions. Incorporated on August 24, 1910, under the name of Imperial Tobacco Company of India Limited and is currently headquartered in Kolkata, India. The company was renamed Indian Tobacco Company in 1970 and later to ITC Limited in 1974. ITC has a diversified business and it's one of the prominent FMCG company in India with an annual turnover of US dollar 7.3 billion. In 1975, the company entered the hospitality business with an acquisition of ITC Welcome Group Hotel Chola. Mr. Sajib Puri is the managing director and chairman currently. Total income of ITC Limited has increased by 20.92% with rupees 58,931 crores and with earnings before interest and tax of rupees 90,871 crores by 15.4% upward move. The company has a market capitalization of 4,21,324 crores currently. Its major brands includes Ashirwad, Sunfeast, Ippy, Bingo, Will's Lifestyle, John Players, Classmate, Fiamma and others that have garnered increasing consumer franchise with a short span of time. The company operates across North America, Europe, Southeast Asian countries. The company has 13 business in 5 segments. It exports products in 19 countries and its products are available in 6 million retail outlets. The company is acknowledged as one of the India's most valuable business corporations with a gross sales value of 90,104 crores and a net profit of 15,058 crores. For the 6 months, revenue was rupees 3 lakh 92 million compared to 3 lakh million a year ago. Net income was rupees 90,000 million as compared to 69,000 million previously. Basic EPS from continuing operation of ITC Limited is rupees 7.29 and diluted EPS is rupees 7.28 compared to 5.68 previous year.
Hello, this is Gareema, and today I'll be talking about the statement of profit and loss of Indian Tobacco Company. The overall net profit of the company, as we can clearly see, has increased by 2026 crore rupees, that is more than 15.5% from the previous financial year. In order to understand the various factors that led to this increase, let us take a closer look at the income statement of the company. Let us first start with analyzing the revenue from operations of the company. As we can see that the revenue has increased to nearly 60,000 crores. This increase can be majorly attributed to increase in the income from sale of products and services. ITC earns a major part of its revenues from the sale of cigarettes. This revenue has increased by nearly 3,000 crores from the previous year. Another product which is a major source of revenue for the Indian Tobacco Company is paperboards and paper. The sale of this product has also increased by over 1500 crores from the previous financial year. Other than this, there is also a significant increase in the revenue earned from the agricultural products provided by the company to the market like wheat, rice, soya and coffee. Over here, there has been an increase of over 3,800 crores of sales, which is almost 60% more than the previous year's sales. Moving on to the analysis of the expenses, as we can see that ITC witnessed a significant increase in the total expenses this financial year, majorly in cost of materials consumed and purchases of stock in trade. It witnessed a 13% decrease in the finance cost and a 6% increase in the depreciation and amortization of assets. Other than that, we can see that it experienced a 55% increase in purchases of stock in trade when compared to the previous year, and an 18% increase in the cost of materials consumed, again when compared to the previous year. Moreover, operating income during the year rose 23.7% on a year-on-year basis. The net profit margins during the year declined from 29.5% in financial year 21 to 27.6% in financial year 22. The operating profit margins witnessed a fall and stood at 36.7% in the current financial year as against 37.5% in the previous financial year. However, the net profit grew by 2026 crore rupees, that is 15.5% more than the previous financial year. The EPS of the company improved to 12.22 in financial year 22 from 10.59 in financial year 21. Thank you, and I'll be passing this on to Gayatri, who will be talking about the balance sheet of the company.
I have analyzed the balance sheet of the ITC company and it reveals the following information. The company's current liabilities during the financial year 2022 stood at rupees 122 billion as compared to rupees 107 billion in the previous year, therefore witnessing an increase of 13.8%. Long-term debt down at rupees 49 million as compared to rupees 56 million during the previous year, a fall of 13.1%. Current assets fell 2% and stood at rupees 342 billion, while fixed assets rose by 11% and stood at rupees 430 billion. The overall total assets and liabilities for the present year stood at rupees 772 billion as compared against the previous year rupees 738 billion, witnessing a growth of 5%. The company's profitability, operations, effectiveness or utilization of the funds. The ratio analysis is an important tool which helps us in making investing decisions. So, let's see the profits during those years. Operating profit margin witnessed a fall and stood at 36.7% in the present year as against 37.5% in the previous year. The net profit margins also declined from 29.5% in the previous year to 27.6% in the current year. The debt equity ratio had no change compared to the previous year. The current ratio deteriorated and stood at 2.8x during the present year from 3.3x during the previous year. The current ratio measures the company's ability to pay short-term and long-term obligations. The interest coverage ratio. The company's interest coverage ratio has improved and stood at 346.4x during the present year from 310.6x during the previous year. The interest coverage ratio of the company states how easily a company can pay its interest expense on outstanding debt. A higher ratio is preferable. Profitability ratios. Return on capital employed ratio of the company has increased and stood at 34.0% during the present year compared to 30.7% during the previous year. This measures the ability of the firm to generate profits from its total capital employed in the company. Return on equity has improved and stood at 25.3% during the current year from 22.8% during the previous year. This return on equity helps the firm to generate more profits for its shareholders. Return on assets. The return on assets has improved and stood at 20.1% during the current year from 18.2% during the previous year. This ratio helps us to measure how efficiently the company uses its assets to generate earnings. Thank you.
Hi, I am Geoffrin. I am going to be talking about cash flow statement of ITC company. First, let's see what a cash flow statement is. A cash flow statement is a statement which records receipt, which is the inflow of cash, and payment, which is the outflow of cash of any business. Well, it technically summarizes how much cash comes and goes out of a business. Cash flow statement also points out how good a company is at managing their liquidity and how much income it brings to the enterprise. While recording the cash flow, the statement have to be organized. Thus, it is divided into three separate groups. First is operation activities, second being investing activities, and finally financing activities. Operating activities include any source or use of cash from business activities, such as receipts from sale of goods and services, interest payment, and income tax payment, etc. And investing activities include any source and use of cash from a company's investment, such as purchase or sale of asset, loan made to the vendor, or loan received from the customers. Finally, let's look at financing activities. Well, financing activity includes the source of cash from investors and bank, as well as the way cash is paid to the shareholders. This includes any dividend or payment from stock repurchases and repayment of loan made by the company. Cash flow statements are mainly useful to the investors as it proves that the company has a solid financial structure. Now, let's look at the ITC cash flow statement analysis for the period of 2020 to 21. During this period, the cash flow from the operating activities went from 146 billion to 125 billion, with a difference of 21 billion in between. It has a difference percentage of negative 14.7 percentage. Next, the cash flow of investing activities went from negative 61 billion to 56 billion, and the cash flow of financing activities went from negative 81 to negative 186 billion. This being the difference in cash flow of three categories, the net cash flow turned from 3 billion to negative 3 billion, which indicates that the cash flow of the company has decreased significantly. And at last, let's look at the ITC cash flow statement for the last year, which is from 2021 to 22. In this year, the cash flow of operating activities increased 25.9 percentage, which went from 125 billion to 157 billion. Then the investing activities cash flow went from 56 billion to negative 22 billion, and for the financing activities, it increased by 51 billion. For the net cash flow, it increased by 3 billion, which is clear improvement from the last year cash flow statement. Thank you. Next, Joel will be talking about the recent developments adopted by ITC.
My name is Joel Thomas Sam, and I'll be dealing on this topic, that is the recent developments adopted by the ITC Limited. Now, moving on, let's look in briefly into each of these recent developments. The first one being the product lifecycle management services. Building on its substantive expertise, that is the product life cycle management services, the ITC Infotech has successfully acquired in the recent times most of PTC Incorporation's PLM services, and as a result of which it has earned to be the largest organization in this domain. And it also commands its stand as the leader in digital manufacturing. And as a result of this, in the recent times, huge investments have been channelized into various identified domains, and there has also been huge investments in employee as well as customer centric technologies and innovations. Moving on to the second development, that is renewable energy. So the ITC Limited proudly commands its stake to have achieved this rare distinction of being all water, carbon as well as solid waste positive. And one of the notable feature of under this element is that about 42% of its energy requirement is solely dependent on renewable sources of energy. And the various renewable sources of energy that it depends on includes solar, biomass as well as wind energy. So huge in the recent times, the company has made huge investments in solar farms and various other projects, which is expected to help the company meet its sustainability objectives, and especially its target of achieving 50% energy requirement and 100% electricity requirement from renewable sources by the year 2030. Now, moving to the third one, that is the ITC e-store. Well, the ITC Limited in the recent times has been on the run to develop a future tech enterprise, and as a result of which huge investments have been provided for the development of various consumer-centric innovations and technologies. And ITC eStore is a result of such initiative. Well, ITC eStore is now operational across 15 cities, and it sells across 45 categories of products and 700 plus products through these channels. And it has also been witnessed that there is a three-time growth since the financial year 2020 through the e-commerce platforms. Moving to the fourth one, the final one, that is the ITC's afforestation program. Well, this program is intended to assist farmers in order to convert their unproductive land assets to profitable pulpwood plantations. Well, this is made possible by the ITC, the company providing clonal saplings developed by the ITC's research and development team. Well, these clonal saplings are competent to grow even in harsh conditions. Then the second initiative under this includes the formation of social forestry, which are mainly focused on the impoverished people, who then form the forestry groups through which they can avail loans, subsidized clonal stock, as well as technical training, as well as support. Well, in addition to the ITC's afforestation program providing various benefits to its various stakeholders, it also contributes to expanding the country's green cover, as well as it also helps in the enrichment of the soil, providing more greenery, reducing the carbon footage, and improving the groundwater levels. Well, this brings us to the end of our group's presentation. Thank you, sir, for your patient listening. Thank you.